Centaur War Runner, a Doom, a Death Prophet, heroes that aren't, well, Doom was picked a lot at the Animator, but the other three not so much, Mr. AUI 2000. What are your thoughts on these two beautiful drafts?
I think Quincy Crew is a bit favored in this one. I'm not too sure. They might
what
have
did I say about saying you're not sure? Confidence, young
I don't
man.
know.
Just fake it till you make it.
I just have less info on them, you know?
On Quincy Crew?
Because the matchups too, right? Like these pro players, they play the same heroes over and over in pubs, their role. And in my head, I don't think this is a good lifestealer pick. Like, I don't think it's good versus DP Terrorblade. And I don't even know if it wins the lane versus Centaur Enchantress. I feel like Centaur Enchantress should be completely fine in that. However, if it does win the lane, this hero will be extremely hard to kick out, and he should be able to defend his tower. So maybe that's what T1 were going for. They may have a read on the hero that I don't.
Maybe going for a hero that can fight a little bit earlier and potentially pressure the Terrorblade, who has to, you know, get that base level of farm.
I could see that.
I mean, you have the Infest Bomb potential, which, you know, into Puck.
Oh, you see
into Doom.
Cuckoo, he already ate the range creep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sort of cool. Make sure that the lane pushes into Terrorblade, so LA won't be able to do this pose. Oh, they don't find him. Is that worth? No, he spends 100 gold for a TP scroll in order to get the Devour earlier, which gives you 60 extra gold. Nah, it's not bad. You get solo XP as well.
Yeah,
I was thinking this game,
nice.
I would like to see the DP shard, because we were just talking about it. I was theory crafting it in my head. Like, maybe it's good versus the Winter Wyvern save, because that makes him stand still for 4 seconds. So you use it right when he saves one. They get feared for 2 seconds. That might be pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They probably won't get it.
Probably not. The shard before that, which Carl taking a lot of damage really early on in this mid lane, as this courier will be sniped out by Zephyr on the Winter Wyvern. But yeah, it used to be the minus armor Spirit Siphon, but now that you get that extra charge, it seems like even if you don't get the fear, it's still pretty value overall. But we don't really get to see it still. I think it's kind of in its infancy.
Yeah, it's probably underrated, but that's the thing. There's so many shards and stuff that changes in Dota. Sometimes you don't get to play them enough to figure out when it's the best time to get these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Zephyr, he's pulled the wave around, but this means generally that Terrorblade's going to deny a wave in free farm.
Oh, MSS. Fairy Fire has to be popped there. You see the Spirit Siphon from Quinn. Wants to bounce back from that last game, of course. Yeah, let's talk about the lifesteal a little bit more. This is one of my favorite heroes in the game. Against Terrorblade, it's kind of weird though, right? Like we talked about how it could maybe have its aggression come online a little bit faster, but against TB late game, it's definitely not good. Sometimes you see a Maelstrom pick up for the illusion type heroes, but Terrorblade's, I don't know, feels like that would be kind of a, I mean, it's decent with the magic damage, I suppose, but it looks like he is going for the typical armlet build.
It's not as bad as like 4 years ago where you could just thunder him through rage.
Oh my goodness, okay.
There's the tips. I knew that tip was coming.
Wow.
Quinn has been tipped 18 times this series. He's ready to exact some vengeance.
Crypt Swarm, I think Phase Shift was still on cooldown, so not able to get it off as LOA in the meantime. And taking some Wyvern damage. They will be able to clean him up at the very least, so let's get another kill on the board here. But yeah, back to Lifesteal. Talk to me about this hero.
It's not as bad as when you could Sunder through Rage, but typically Lifesteal is predominantly physical damage. You can see he's going to go for the phase boots into Armlet. And Terrorblade's very high armor versus that. Also, once you get items like Scotty, he becomes really easy to kite. However, if you can get to like some Mjolnir MKB build, you can man-fight Terrorblade. You lifesteal a lot on this hero.
So would you go for a Mjolnir after an Armlet? Or because it feels like Maelstrom is, when you go for that, is typically in place of the Armlet.
Probably Armlet into Maelstrom this game, I would say.
Wow.
Honestly, I wouldn't itemize to deal with Terrorblade. I would let my allies deal with it. I'd go like some Armlet Maelstrom into Sange Satanic and like try to tank and frontline for my team. You need a Satanic to remove the DP silence.
And Leslau taking some right-click damage, but he doesn't care because he's a Centaur War Runner. Whitemon taking some pressure from MSS on the other side. Leslau, got to be careful with that Ghoul Frenzy AUI. You can't, I mean, the hero has 2 passives, and anytime there's a hero with 2 passives, that means they're strong, historically speaking.
Yeah, I don't know. I play ability draft with my friends. They take 3 passives. Literally useless. Top though. They're going on to Yower.
Maledict is applied to Cuckoo. You are getting quite low through the Arctic Burn. LOA is going to take some damage as well as he attempts to run away here. And then with that Splinter Blast, dealing even more damage, Yawar pops the Metamorphosis from the trees, and that's going to force everybody from T1 back for now. And Carl again getting pressure from Quinn. In terms of the CS, Quinn a little bit ahead in terms of just the numbers here. 18 and 5 versus the 13 and 5, but Obviously, that kill being the big difference here.
Yeah, it wasn't just a kill because of the timing when he killed him, he managed to get his bottle and both water runes. So he got a kill, and then he fully recovered on resources, which is a big deal. And you can see MSS, he knows his boy Quinn is snowballing, so he comes over and just snags that water rune. And now Carl, he has no sustain. He has a solve, but he has no mana sustain, you know?
Yeah, that costs money. That's not a free rune. Definitely makes a difference. As Quick Storm clips.
Cancels the solve, and Carl, he still doesn't have bottle. This is the complete opposite of last game. Quinn's at 2,200 net worth versus Carl's 1,300.
Yeah, Quinn definitely having a good start to this game. I mean, what are your thoughts on Death Prophet overall for a game like this?
It's a good DP game. I think it's not good versus Lion in theory, but it's not that bad as long as you have Stampede to counteract the Hex, right? So you can always find your spacing. It should be good versus Doom. I mean, if he dooms you before you get Siphons and OT off, it's bad, of course, but DP's one of the better ones versus Doom generally.
Yeah, and what about Centaur, though? Because this is a hero that was first pick, first banned during the earlier stages of this patch, and then in the Animator kind of just fell off a cliff.
He's definitely undervalued a bit. I think part of the reason why he dropped off was he's very low damage. I think, even compared to a hero like Mars, he does less damage. But Quincy, I think they have very high damage heroes on their other ones, right? DP, Terrorblade, and even Enchantress have high damage. Even Witch Doctor, honestly.
Yeah, of course. With the Centaur builds, we've been seeing a lot of the max or at least 2 to 3 levels of the return. And obviously with the Vanguard being a big reason for that because that's kind of the item of the patch as well. But, I mean, if you could go back to the original max double edge AO, that's when you have damage on Centaur, you see? What's happened to my boy?
More like mid-game lack of damage, to be honest. Because even if you have that double edge, I don't know, it's weird damage. I don't know how to say it. Like, you have to be beside them. It's not casual.
Weird damage?
Yeah.
Is that a new mechanic that I don't know?
No, it's how I classify stuff in my head, you know?
Oh yeah, I want to see more inside your head, please.
No, you don't. It's very messy.
I see a Maledict into the cask to follow here, but just a little chip damage overall. But yeah. I'm appreciating that we're seeing some new heroes. I know that there's going to be a patch probably after this tournament, I would assume, that's going to shake things up a little. I don't know how big it will be, but it feels like I wouldn't say the meta has been solved by any means. I don't think that's literally almost ever the case. Maybe TI4 is the one example that it is, but we've been seeing a lot of the same heroes just repeated over and over, and the same heroes getting through the Terrorblades, the Wyverns, and we're seeing that again, but at least we get a little bit mixed up.
It's sort of weird because if the same heroes are getting through, that means the meta's not really solved in that sense. Because teams believe that they can still beat these heroes, right?
True.
So there's if you have differing opinions, it means the meta definitely isn't solved. But I could see, it is a bit stale seeing Metamorphosis every game. You know?
Metamorphosis popped. Cold Embrace fully healed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it because I think the strategy behind these heroes is not as boring as some of the other ones we've seen. Like you mentioned TI4. That was a boring strategy, you know?
Yeah, but that was only the tail end of that tournament. It was actually pretty exciting.
That tournament was very good.
Just everybody remembers the last few matches, which were quite bad, for sure.
That's true.
No, but I like this patch quite a bit, as we're going to see Maledict into the Metamorphosis to follow. Cuckoo on the run, but he's taking heavy damage. LOA in the meantime, taking some from Zephyr in turn, but the Maledict will be enough to finish off Cuckoo. As you are trying to pressure out Zephyr, but has to be careful here. He's going to get healed up a bit from LOA.
23 Savage is dumpstering this lane bottom, though. I think a little bit as Enchantress had to leave to go get that water rune. They start hanging around mid. But I guess that's the read on Lifesteal. If he does win this lane, I don't know who kicks him out. Maybe some rotation from DP and Terrorblade even. Oh, they pop Exo mid.
Yeah, indeed. With that Stampede used, but the coil onto 2. Carl, will he get out? Just barely. The ghosts are chasing, and he's going to live with the Waning Rift. So very clutch coil there, saving his life. MSS getting extremely low. Arctic Burn is there from the sideline. Zephyr not able to actually find the kill, though. So in the end, nobody dies. This Quinn was really low as well. He's chasing Cuckoo now. Yeah, he's going to get healed by these ghosts in a moment. This Cuckoo's still not quite level 6. You see the orb come out. Carl, LOA, gets off the Maledict. Quinn gets a decent amount of healing. Now the Spirit Siphon will help quite a bit as well. Earth Spike, going to prevent any more aggression from coming out.
He won't have phase shift.
He has phase shift, and bottle charges are coming too, but yep, the Maledict Man, Carl, another death for him. So he evaded death and then died shortly after, as we're seeing a stack taken out by MSS's Wild Wing Ripper here.
And pretty unlucky for him there, because after the first death, he TP's into mid, right? And now he just died without a TP scroll. So that, oh, here's the tip.
That's a very delayed.
That was a very delayed tip.
Quinn, you need to be more, like, he needs to have his mind in the game here.
Yeah.
The mind games don't work if it's delayed.
I will say the mental game in this series has been on point, you know?
Yeah, that's true, for the most part.
T1 have identified that the NA teams have a weak mental support structure.
Is that true?
I mean, EG lost a question mark, so I don't know what to say.
That's a good point. But they're technically an EU team, if you think of it.
Yeah,
well, we'll take them in NA, I guess. But finally, level 6 now with Cuckoo, so Doom available. Zephyr slowing down a bit here. Devour used on the Enchantress creep. Now, MSS, if he takes a Doom here, he is almost certainly dead. He can take a Hadouken instead, and the chase with the Scorched Earth is actually just going to be enough. Nice casual run down there for Cuckoo. So 3-2 advantage for Quincy Crew now.
23 Savage is just sort of standing in front of his tower. But Leslau, he has his Vanguard. I don't think like either of these are that unhappy. He is going for the Hood, which personally I don't like. I think having Vanguard and Hood, unless you're like stomping your lane and taking towers with it, doesn't make much sense with. I would rather see him disassemble the Vanguard and buy a faster Hood and then get Blink. But we'll see how it works out for him. Like, there's like not much.
You would go Heart later with that Vit booster?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe not versus Lifestealer, but I think you can get A on this. Like, Vit booster builds into pretty stable items.
I mean, to be fair, the Feast from Lifestealer, the damage that it deals is not like it used to be, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you still get the max
less.
HP, but it's a lot less percentage.
For sure.
So I don't know how much you care. Because Heart on Centaur does feel
It is sick. Like the Heart with the Shard, you have like 8k HP.
Oh, God, it feels so good. We have 3 people here for Quincy Crew. If they can find this kill on 23 Savage, it would be pretty big, but also quite difficult to actually find it in the end.
This is sort of funny, though. They picked this Leicester to sort of maintain control of this bot lane, but Lesau, he's just going to tank the tower, and the tower's going to kill itself.
Yep. Stop hitting yourself, tower. 23 Savage trying to defend here. We got some reinforcements, though, for T1. 23 Savage already at half HP. Whitemon is invisible right now as the Rage is popped a little bit prematurely, going to take over the enemy siege. So that push will come to an end for now, although, again, he can just tank it up with that return. And he will do just that, but fortifications pop. They see that Zephyr's in the trees. Gwen looking for potential Siphon here. Doesn't have a point in silence. Is that pretty typical on the mid DPs?
I thought he would have one, to be honest. There's a lot of good silence targets. Top lane does have 3 range creeps. I'm surprised Quincy Crew are a bit slow on coming up here.
Yeah, this tower took heavy damage. Might actually fall if they're not careful. And yeah, Kuko on the other side gets the Hadouken off. I actually have literally no idea what that spell is called. Should probably learn that at some point. Oh, that's very boring. It's actually called Shockwave still? Yeah, that's a Dota 1 thing. Oh, that looked like lag.
That looked like server lag, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we were lagging as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we'll pause for now as Doom is working towards a Hand of Midas. This is kind of the typical build that we saw throughout the Animajor. And I mean, we saw a lot of farm Dooms and pretty decent success, I would say, overall as a hero.
Yeah, I think the heroes look good. And I'm honestly surprised that Quincy Crew gave up the safe lane tower. I watched them a couple times in DPC, and I feel like they did give up their safe lane tower a lot. There might be some like read that they have on it that I'm not aware of. Because in my head, like, there's no way you should lose that tower after you've taken bottom.
Nope. Yeah, that is true. That is a pretty early tower to give up for... I mean, there's almost no resistance whatsoever.
I will say, like, on Dire side, I don't think your safe lane tower matters that much. I think Dire's mid tower is really important. And I think, like, Radiant's safe lane tower is more important. Like, even more than Radiant's mid tower, in my personal opinion. So, maybe they have something on that.
Rage is popped already for 23 Savage. He has the armlet now. So his build that he's going for is Casual Sage into Scotty.
Scotty, okay. Good versus DP, I guess. Good versus the heal coming out for Enchantress and Witch Doctor. I guess it's just like the anti-heal meta item, right? If everyone's going for heals.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if he switches something up to go for a Satanic because of the Dispel aspect.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was
silence.
going to go as well. I mean, I like the Maelstrom just to push out lanes because the pubs I play, you don't have these teammates on your team where you have Carl just pushing every lane for you.
Leslau tanking up the tower. Now he has to tank up a lot of spells. The Doom is there. Coil onto 2 to follow with the Finger of Death. Leslau takes a tumble, and LOA follows suit. So 2 quick kills for T1.
Quinn's team just feeds and he just gets tipped. I do feel like, I saw this last game too though, from Leslie. Like, he feels really strong. He just sits in middle. And T1 just bring all their heroes because you're in the middle of the map. Like, you need to bring more resources than that if you want to make this type of play. It costs them both games pretty heavily.
Yep, he has the hood like you talked about on top of the Vanguard, so we'll be going for Blink next. Of course, maybe feels a little bit safe because he has the disengage with Stampede, but the problem with that, and it is good against these heroes, like it's good against Lifestealer, it's good against Doom, but if you get coiled, it's not really of much use anymore.
Even Wyvern as well. I think
curses.
Wyvern was a traditional centaur counter. You just have the Arctic Burn versus that high HP pool, and you have the curse to lock down that Stampede.
Well, Leslie back in mid, he gets the tower. Actually, it was denied. Nicely done from Zephyr. It might cost him his life. The silence into the hoof stomp, double edge, and the Crypt Swarm. Quinn takes him out. But the deny pretty big.
To be honest, I don't think tier 1 denies are worth it anymore versus dying. It's like 45 gold for each member on your team, and you deny 45 to them.
Yeah, but the mental damage.
The mental damage is good.
Yeah.
That is true. It's an underrated aspect of Dota, just doing mental damage to your opponents.
I agree. All right, since we have a small amount of downtime, I want to talk about something that will literally never happen until the item gets buffed. Can we talk a bit about Aghanim Scepter on Lifesteal?
I thought you were going to say Mage Slayer. I was going to report you.
No. Okay, this is one of the coolest acts.
Something happening
it's not. Oh, no.
Just
Something's
kidding. Juked you.
Why are you debating me right now? You can infest enemies. You heal super fast. The cast range on infest is really long. You get like 4 attacks, I think.
I think the cooldown is the most important part. It goes to 20-second cooldown.
It does everything. It does everything.
It's underrated right now, but it's pretty shit.
Yeah, it's like a 6th item. It's something you get off of Roche.
It's good versus Razor. Like, you can jump away from the link.
Hoof Stomp on the other side of the cliff. Do they have the vision? MSS finds him. The silence. Do they have a cancel? Yep, the Yules from Quinn.
He has Curse.
So Zephyr, does he actually want to use it here?
He tried.
Actually trying to, yeah.
Did you see the Lifestealer? He was chasing that Witch Doctor. If he had a 14-minute Aghanim's, he could have infested him and caught him. That would have been really impressive.
Hell yeah. One of these days, man, it's going to happen. 23 Savage. Looks like Doom actually just TP's out to safety, so he's going to rage up and TP himself out as well.
The Metamorphosis.
Yeah, he forces out the meta.
I feel like he was dead if LOA used his Death Ward there. A little bit of miscommunication from Yawa and LOA. Maybe not. I didn't see if his armlet was on or off, because you actually can toggle that while TPing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very little known fact, actually. And it makes no sense why that's possible.
You don't deserve to understand Dota.
I mean, Invis as well. Invis while, as we see here, the replay. Let's see. So let's say he pops Death Ward now. Armlet was toggled already.
I feel like Death Ward does more than 170 DPS to him. Like, if he channels it right away, I think he's dead.
Yeah, possibly. But it's not to be. LOA still level 8 right now. But 2K net worth advantage for Quincy Crew.
MSS doesn't have his ultimate. He's 3-3-1 at level 7, and he just hit level 8. I wonder what his plan is with that. I've seen a lot of enchantresses do this, where you're not dying to right clicks anyways.
Yeah, like what are you worried? Like if Lifestealer goes on you, you rage anyway, so you're not affected.
No, Untouchable works through.
Oh, it works through now?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Was that always the case?
No, they changed it a while back.
Okay. Yeah, when they switched the ult with the impetus, I guess.
Yeah, there's just a lot that does damage or affects you through BKB that you wouldn't expect it to now. Like, for example, if you BKB when a Lion or a Lina uses Laguna on you, you BKB during the magic damage delay, like, you will still get damaged.
Right.
Sort of awkward.
So can we talk about why this ability is called Shockwave when Magnus is still in the game? You have 2 abilities called the same thing.
You don't deserve to have abilities named different things either.
I see. Okay. I mean, what if you become a Morphling that takes over... How would you get both spells?
This is why they don't care, Suns fan.
No. There has to be a way. There has to be a way for it to happen.
If Doom eats it, I think Rubik can steal it.
Okay.
And then
what? You can only steal one and then the other.
And then he uses it and he steals it from Magnus, and then he uses high APM to use both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the Aghanim Scepter. Sure. All right, we have a smoke here from Quincy Crew. 2K lead still. No Roche attempt as of yet. I mean, that's the biggest value for the Untouchable at this point, is for the Roshan, I suppose, but looks like T1 are reading this. And 23 Savage, like we said, it went that Sage. Scotty is next, and he is super happy just to farm right now.
And another Shawl coming out for Terrorblade. Probably one of the best tier 2 items for him.
Yeah, the armor loss does not matter for him.
It does not matter at all.
And Zephyr. Leslie's going to pop the Stampede. We have the Maledict, everything online. Still silence. Cass is going to be there, though. They don't give him any space. So freebie for Quincy Crew.
I think both this game and game 1, Quincy Crew have done a pretty good job of defending their side of the map. Like every time T1 have pushed past the river, and they sort of find punishes, but I haven't seen that many aggressive moves from them successfully. I think T1 have been pretty good at holding down the fort. The difference, however, is that last time T1 had the Terrorblade, who was 2,000 net worth ahead of the Morphling. In this game, Quincy Crew's Terrorblade is pulling ahead of 23 Savage and a Lightstealer.
I mean, the other thing we didn't even talk about is that this is a Doom game where typically you will have the net worth advantage just in an even game.
That is true.
And they're down 2K, which, I mean, I don't know how you would extrapolate that exactly. Maybe like 4K down right now, would you say?
I have no idea.
Hero?
Doom's not like Alchemist, where a lot of your net worth is fake, but to a degree, the hero is balanced around that gold mechanism, right? They're just doing Roshan. They have the Witch Doctor heal, level 2, and Centaur with Vanguard Hood. Quinn's not listening to me because I've told him you need to go beside Roshan for Exa to do full damage.
Yeah, that's what you do with DP, right? You get close to a tower just to get the extra ghost damage. We're going to see the pickoff here onto MSS, but creating space for the Roshan. He'll take this.
It's actually like double damage, Exo beside something. It's like within like 200 range compared to that 600 range. So it's a big deal.
I mean, there must be a reason he's doing it. He obviously knows it, right?
No. You don't understand pro players. Like sometimes, I mean, here's the thing. So I know you know this because I did the experiment with you. There's a psych experiment where you have to count people bouncing a basketball and passing it to each other.
Yeah.
And I had
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. There's going to see the silence into the hoof stomp. Double edge to follow. Will 23 Savage get off? Oh, he doesn't even get the infest off. There were creeps there, but
I think he was dead anyways, to be honest. But yeah, that's a good pickoff from them. Really good punish on, 23 Savage. He extends over the river. Quincy Crew punish him.
Yeah, true.
Seems to be the theme of this game.
But anyway, back to your point about pro players.
Yes, if everyone's ever wondering why pro players tend to miss small things when they're hyper focused on the ultra complex game of Dota, go Google a video about what should I Google? Like counting.
You're the one that told me about
I don't know. Counting basketballs past psych experiment.
Okay.
And just watch that video on YouTube.
It's actually really good.
It's really funny
as well. But to make this more Dota related, I will also say on top of that, after owning a team for a while, and I mean you were on that team, pro players actually don't know every mechanic in the game as well.
And it's not even about knowing the mechanics, right? Sometimes it's just about like you have to specifically know such a specific mechanic and apply it.
Net, they actually see Whitemon attempting to TP out now. Do they have a cancel? The Yules again from Quinn. And this will be a Spirit Siphon into a death, so Quincy Crew again with another kill. But like I'm not saying Quinn doesn't know that mechanic, but I'm saying I think there's this understanding right now in the community that pro players just know literally every mechanic. That's definitely not the case.
No, pro players are very stupid. They play Dota all game.
Yeah, they're very good at other things. A Zephyr, okay, Curse onto Yawar, but there's a hoof stomp to follow, and with the Maledict and a double edge, Zephyr takes a tumble. Oh, Stampede is there. Carl not able to finish off Witch Doctor for the time being. Gets the coil off only onto Yawar though. And with a lot of these spells expended and still the Aegis online, Quincy Crew have free reign to go on this tier 2.
Yeah, I think they should look to get a tier 2 tower. I would like Yawar to just walk down to bottom. I don't think this mid tier 2 is easy to take. Just take the free one so you can take map control with this outpulse. Yeah, but anyways, the original point, if you look at that psych experiment, is that when you hyper focus on some stuff, it's really easy to miss very blatantly obvious details. Right. Even if Quinn does know that he should go close at Roshan, maybe he's thinking about how he can take the engage. Maybe he's making some calls about something like that. It's really easy to make simple mistakes like that when it's hyper complex and hyper focused.
So anytime I'm wrong about something, I'm just going to blame it on being too hyper focused on something else. Okay?
That applies very well to your gameplay.
Man, a lot of flame with me today.
That was
23 Savage able to get that tier 1 tower, pops the Rage, looking for the infest on Carl potentially here. He'll do so successfully. Remember, the range on that is abysmally low. I think it's 50 range, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, ultra melee.
On infest?
Yeah.
Is there a way to make it higher?
Yeah, with Aghanim Scepter.
That's really good.
I am okay, there's a few heroes I'm a master with, AOI, and this is one of them, all right? Real life stealer level. Yeah, I love it.
All right, we can play when we get home.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't want.
You are chasing 23 Savage, the reflection is off.
Okay, so 23 Savage, he's changed up his build a bit. Because he's a bit behind, he's going for the MKB instead of the Scotty. I think that's completely the right choice. If you are behind, you cannot itemize defensively. You will literally never come back into the game. You have to be able to surprise your opponents and clutch out a kill with like some single target line disabled doom, blah, blah, blah damage in order to come back into Dota.
All right, still only a 2K net worth lead for Quincy Crew. Carl takes out the wave, phase shift, blink. Looks like he's fine. Nicely done from him. Oh, Lesla actually gets the blind hoof stomp, but there's the cold embrace. Stampede to follow. Looks like they'll just give up Whitemon now. Still, Aegis online for another less than a minute here. Can Quincy Crew get something else? They got the tier 2 bot. Still tier 2s in the top and middle.
I do like, I mean, it's super small, but there's not too much here. So when they got that pick online, you saw Yaoer, he had the Aegis, and how he positioned, he sort of like positioned more to the left of everyone, just to give that extra vision. See, that's the thing that pro players, they do naturally, but they might forget about the Roshan thing, you know?
Yeah.
Dota's weird.
I think it's the mind that's more weird.
That's true.
Human beings are weird. We're going to see some mass TPs into the bottom lane. Silence, but 23 Savage able to get off the rage beforehand, so just a tad late from Quinn's side.
Very clutch from 23 Savage. Like, he calculated DP's been off the map for like, 3.2 seconds. I need to rage soon.
Yeah, very true. And this tier 2 tower. I mean, for something like that, is this deny worthy? Do you just leave it up?
I think you should just deny it.
Yeah.
I don't really think tier 2 mid really gives you that much map control, but honestly, it's not a big deal. Killing towers isn't so much about the gold nowadays as it is about map control.
Right, we have a scan into their own jungle, I believe. Yeah, and the follow scan now into the triangle from Quincy Crew. Nobody's going to be spotted. Smoke still online for T1. Double damage on Puck. And Carl and company looking for an opening. Of course, with Cuckoo's Blink and BKB, this gives them a lot of options. But the Infest Bomb not going to happen this time. And MKB is basically done. Just needs to finish the recipe, about 300 gold away for the Lifestealer. All right, not to bring up Aghanim Scepter again,
oh, no.
AUI, but if you go for the pure right click, it becomes legitimately good. The reason it's not good is because a lot of the items you go for are attack speed based, which doesn't do anything with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I have a friend who rushes eggs on Lifestealer every game.
Oh, no.
We just lose the game.
He's not doing it right.
He puts like armlet Daedalus, eggs.
All right, I'm going to make a prediction for TI, okay?
You're
this
muted.
Aghanim Scepter will get micro buffed.
It's going to get Omega buffed.
And then it's going to get very strong, okay? We're going to see it.
I think the buffs it's going to get are pretty significant.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully they don't redesign it, because I actually do like the idea of infesting an enemy.
Too. If I could have at 14 minutes when chasing the enemy 5 position, it'd be really good.
So now that the Lifestealer has the MKB, what's the plan here for T1? Go for an Infest Bomb play? It feels like that's pretty straightforward what they want to do. They have a lot of jump, and they have counter initiation with Wyvern ult from the
I would say they have a lot of single target with Doom and Lion, so they can surprise Quincy Crew's heroes on the side lanes. I think they should play around that. Maybe if they get a really good jump, they can play around the middle of the map, but I think most likely you're going to see smokes towards the sides.
Yeah, we're going to see a smoke already here, as Lesla was actually working on an Aghanim Scepter for himself, so the Centaur Ags, the Stampede 40% damage reduction is pretty huge, but still 500 or so away from actually finishing it, so I don't think Quincy Crew are looking for a fight quite yet, especially when he's that close to it. And what other items are we looking for? So Lincoln's looks to be next for Quinn. Just an ultimate orb away, so about 1,000 from finishing that. That's going to be pretty high impact.
MSS has his Holy Locket. Very strong item dispatch.
I like that it's such an afterthought in past patches, and now it's like, yeah, that's...
I've been building that item for a long time on Enchantress. It's really good. Gives you everything you want.
Yeah, for sure. Now, talk to me about this this team fight from Quincy Crew then, because once you get this Ags online for Lesla, that gives you like a lot of great Roche capability as well. You just run right through the cliff. You can disengage with that. Obviously, the damage reduction is huge.
As long as Quincy Crew don't get like 3 to 4 man Wyvern cursed, if they initiate on T1, there's no way for them to lose a fight. Because all their heroes are sort of like, if you go first with the Exo, the meta, etc., then you sort of nullify the effects of Doom. Conversely, like T1, they need to find like pickoffs on side lanes where they get to jump them and get their spells off before Quincy Crew do.
Right, okay.
Like, even if like T1 get the wrong jump, then Quincy Crew still win the fight. So the execution is easier for Quincy Crew. You also just have a Terrorblade to push out your lanes.
Lesla's ready to go. Got the Ags in tow. And he is quite beefy indeed. Farm slowed down a bit there after the beginning of the game in terms of his start, but I mean, Centaur's not really a hero that's going to be getting a ton of farm throughout the game anyway. And of course, the top net worth on the side of T1 is actually...
Lion breaks the smoke.
Oh, all right, Carl.
No one knows.
On the high ground. Yep, they see the phase shift. Stomp. Good attempt. MSS is going to get the slow with the enchant. The courier is actually be taken out by Carl. It looks like he'll get away with it. He's providing quite a good vision here. As you can see, 23 Savage actually rages, then goes inside of a creep. Question is, can they counter-initiate here? That is a very fast creep indeed. As Cuckoo jumps in with the Finger of Death from Whitemon. That's enough to take LOA out of the fight to start this out. Still has buyback though, so Roche, if they go for it, can still be... Well, actually, the Stampede was used there, wasn't it? Yeah, so 70 seconds, no Stampede. That's pretty big.
This is a really cool ward from T1. He just gave them complete control just above the Roshan there. Sort of a sneaky one. Gives them complete control of the fight. And you know, T1, they're just out-positioning Quincy Crew. Like, Center, he took such an awkward path. He, like, his smoke breaks and he's still sort of running forward. It ends up, like, he's okay because he can always Stampede out, but his Witch Doctor ends up dying for his sins.
His sins? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
You deserve punishment. You expose your backline. The dumb core is always exposing the supports.
And we see Spider Legs picked up. In all of 152 semi-pro and pro matches with the lifesteal this patch, Ags hasn't been purchased a single time. That means we don't have any stats on it, so nobody knows.
That is what it means. You are really good with statistics.
Okay, for the record, I do think it's a bad item right now.
Thank you.
But it's close to being very good, okay?
Like Mage Slayer.
And the concept is really cool. Same with Mage Slayer, yeah. You are. Metamorphosis, 23 Savage, already at half health. Doesn't have Infest for another 5 seconds, continue to get chased. Whitemon is in the vicinity, so Yawar can't really go any further. Gets off the Conjure image. Carl, it's like he's TPing out. So nothing will come of that other than the Metamorphosis pop. So I think with this, T1 probably want to try to fight here.
They're forced to do Roshan on these timers.
Exactly. All right, well, Roche starting to get pounded into, already at half health himself. Cuckoo getting taken a lot of damage just from an illusion.
Quiver.
Yeah,
it's a quiver on Enchantress.
23 Savage is inside Carl right now. The Exorcism, here we go. He's going to get silenced to start things out. Looks like Quincy Crew are going to secure the second Roshan. That is pretty big, and out comes 23 Savage, but there's the Stampede. He's forced to rage, TP out, will be successful. And Quincy Crew reinitiate here. Do they even want to? The Exorcism's down. Yeah, they will get out with murder here. So Aegis online. That'll be for Yawar. There was a cheese that's going to be on Quinn.
And DP did take the shard.
Oh, baby.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
I don't think it works through BKB. I actually don't know this mechanic.
I highly doubt it works through BKB.
Siphon stays on even if you BKB after it's casted.
Yeah, but fear, there's no fear in the game that goes through BKB, right? Like what fear goes through BKB? I don't think there's anything.
No, it's only like taunts, right? Like Legion, OT, Axe OT.
Yeah. So yeah.
But I think it's a good concept versus a Winter Riven here, right? Like they both last 4 seconds, and then you get a stun right after.
Yeah, it's one that I haven't yet gotten to see yet actually work. But again, even if you don't get the fear, you get the extra Spirit Siphon anyway.
Yeah,
so
that is nice.
That's, I think, good enough, honestly. You are getting jumped. Doom actually uses his ultimate with the Finger of Death on top. This is just the Aegis, though. Quincy Crew now starting to form up. Trying to respond to this, but not here in time, so Doom down for another couple minutes. Exorcism up in 40.
I think that was really good by T1. I think Aegis is like your win condition for breaking high ground against so many single target spells. This means that if they can stall the game out until the Finger and Doom again, like you've completely reset all that you would have gained with Aegis. I think teams, like your Aegis should be with your team. It shouldn't be off alone. You should use it to gain map control. I think a pretty big mistake from Quincy Crew there.
And Carl being very annoying, taking out multiple waves here to ensure that Quincy Crew can't push. And in the meantime, 23 Savage takes out the tier 2 top. Yeah, T1 feels like, despite losing that second Roche, just outplayed Quincy Crew in the last couple minutes.
Exactly. I think T1's their understanding of how to play the map is just better than Quincy Crew's. Like Quincy Crew, they definitely have their strengths, but I think T1 has a beat on that front.
Oh my god. Leslau going for a refresher. So the double Stampede potential. Sadly, it doesn't stack, so you don't get 80% damage reduction AUI, in case you're wondering. But
thank you.
You can. I actually forgot the Ags gives you an extra second now to Stampede. That's a new addition, I believe.
So. Also, like at level 20, you have the Stampede cooldown, so it's a pretty low cooldown Aghanim's.
Yep, that is definitely a good one.
Refresher is a cool item in center, not only for the Stampede, but Hoof Stomp is a pretty good spell. As you get to 25, sometimes you just stun someone for 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good item pickup this game, I think.
Yep, Quinn's going to pop the Exorcism. They really want to fight here. Cuckoo jumps in with the Hoof Stomp, gets off the Infernal Blade, and Quinn takes heavy damage as a result. You can see LOA healing from the low ground as the Lincolns is already popped and the Fortification as well. Wave is completely taken out, and Meta already used as well. It feels like Quincy Crew, I mean, they have to defend this top lane, it looks like. Carl, well, they're going to try to initiate onto him. Hoof Stomp will not connect. Phase Shift with the Orb. Enchant, looks like the Cask will connect, but he gets Force Staffed onto the high ground.
Now, T1, they completely have a timing here. They have all their spells. They're going to smoke up. There's no meta. There's no Exo. Quincy Crew are looking a bit in trouble here. Despite taking that second Roshan, they lost 2,000 HP on their top tower compared to only 800 from the bottom tower, T1.
Yeah.
I think a little bit indecisive. They probably didn't take the Doom timer. They didn't know it was down for like 25 seconds. But regardless, like, it's hard to push into these heroes.
I mean, this is kind of the issue with lineups where 2 cores have really long cooldowns that you rely on.
For sure.
As we see the coil, it will be used to get the easy kill here for T1.
Say easy.
Okay, I should never say that when there's an Enchantress in play. MSS getting Stampeded with that damage reduction applied as well. And okay, I mean, they trade coil for Stampede there, but of course they know that meta is still down and Exorcism as well. Now the TP's top.
And you see MSS, he's identified a problem. They cannot deal with this puck at all. We saw him like into 5 heroes at the bottom tier 3, just going around. So he's opting to build for a Hex. Oh, they do need one, okay. So I like that. I'm just not sure if he'll get it before this game ends.
And the problem is they don't have like a blink on. It's not like a blink Hex. You have to walk up casually and...
But how the puck's playing, he's sort of blinking into you, right? So if you pre-click him, he goes in, he blinks silence, he's just hexing dead.
Okay.
He will die in like half a second to the Terrorblade.
Yeah, Carl doing a really good job of this game. Just pushing out these waves and just being an overall nuisance. Has a Dagon, so we've seen this a few times in the Animajor as well. Kind of just depends on the game, but bursting down these illusions. And like you said, they just don't have a response to him right now.
Single target burst this patch. It's very heal oriented, as we've seen from these like Wyverns, the double Holy Lock and Quincy Crew. If you manage to kill heroes before they're healed, then you know the heals don't do anything. Very high analysis coming. You're welcome.
Yeah. So heals are strong, is what you're saying. As Yawar jumps in, Cold Embrace not going to be enough, as the damage will go through. So
I like this
takes a tumble.
Itemization from Yawar. He was originally going for the Swift Blink, but Lifesteal has been such a menace on the map. He just goes back for the Basher just so Lifesteal can't push into these side lanes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, is there any way, is he actually upgrading? He actually is going for Abyssal Blade right away on top of that. So.
I think that's correct. Swift Blink, it used to be an item, but ever since they removed the move speed, I think it lowered a lot in priority.
I mean, do you think at some point he just gets rid of the Dragonlance and... Oh, I guess he already has the Blink, doesn't he? So probably go for Swift Blink anyway at some point.
At some point he will, for sure. And Leslie, he's also going for the Hex. So they had a full team talk. Like, guys, someone deal with this puck, please. Quinn is molding.
He actually has the best facial expression.
He does. I love Quinn.
It's so awesome.
He wears his heart on his sleeve in a good way most of the time.
Yeah, usually that's not a good thing actually, but for him, I think I would agree.
Is it bad?
Yeah, if you're a real piece of garbage, it's bad. I'm not going to name names. There's a couple people in the community probably not for the best. Huh?
Nothing.
Nothing. I am not saying anything else. But yeah, T1. And the longer this game goes, who do you favor here in the late game?
And for sure, for a while, I think it's Quincy Crew. Because you just have Terrorblade Death Prophet. It's a very strong dual core.
Oh, Cuckoo with the Shivas jumps in. They want to take out Enchantress, and they will do so. The burst damage is there. Finger of Death.
I was going to say, like, for a while, it has to be them. But Cuckoo already has Refresher Shivas. So he's going to get double Doom off. If he can, like, it's very initiation favored. Like, if he dooms them before they get meta or Exo or Spirit Siphons off, then T1 will win the fights now.
Right. Yeah, Doom is always that wild card, it feels like, in these late game situations. Oh, see the Rage. Actually, that is a shard for 23 Savage, if I'm not mistaken. That's an open wounds indeed. Stampede is used, so mitigating a ton of damage here, but will it be enough to actually get away? Not with the Infernal Blade and the Infest. Leslau is donezo. Yawar has the spider legs, already popped the meta and BKB, and will have to retreat. And again, the timing T1, all they have to do is wait for this meta now, and they can, I would assume, try to go high ground.
I feel like it doesn't matter to heroes. T1's idea of how to play the map is just better than Quincy Crew's. And Quincy Crew, they can pull off clutch fights because they're really high skill players. But constantly, when they step to a position, they just gone too far to mid lane. T1 just punished them. I don't see Quincy Crew really setting up for the same type of ganks, like pushing into side lanes and getting plays this game.
Yeah, but really cool to see Lifestealer, Mr. 23 Savage getting the shard. So
almost
open wounds. What's that?
Almost an egg.
Yeah, almost halfway there. But yeah, open wounds a little bit different than it used to be. First of all, it has good range where you had to level it up last, like the original incarnation, and the fact that you get max HP percentage damage per person that hits the target. It's actually really strong at taking out super tanky targets like the Centaur. But it is easily dispellable if you have anything like that, which, you know, we can see Lesla does not because of his build.
He's going for Hex, so there's no Lotus Orbs anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, 23 Savage has the Rage. LOA taking heavy damage, and he is going to get bursted down again from Whitemon. And they're going to apply the coil only for the Enchantress alone, but it'll be worth it for them. 5 versus 3 advantage now.
No meta.
Yeah, still no meta. Exorcism is up, but there's no way they're going to pop that without their full force behind them.
I feel like the last 4 Metamorphoses haven't really led to any kills. I don't know if it's like a lineup issue or a comms issue. Maybe T1 just outplaying them with vision. But it's looked hard for Quincy Crew to get picks onto any of the T1 cores.
Yeah, for sure. Leslau gets off the hoof stomp Yawar with the Abyssal Blade. They will be able to get the support here, but there's the Doom from Cuckoo onto Centaur himself. Yawar pops the BKB, but Cuckoo pops his own as well. Shiva's, along with the Refresher Orb, activated. Looks like they'll be able to clean up Leslau pretty easily here. Quinn already gets off the Exorcism in fear of getting that double Doom, which is still available here. 23 Savage in that Rage form. Does have Infest up, as he is taunting away. One of the best taunts in the game, by the way.
You have a taunt tier list?
I literally do, actually.
Okay.
And it's top 5.
Nice. Everything's top 5.
It's literally top 5.
All right.
What do you think the best taunt in the game is? I'm trying to remember what I actually picked. I know the top 3, I just don't remember what the order is.
The Shadow Fiend one's really annoying.
Nope. I agree, though.
Sorry.
It is annoying.
So another Exo, like these big spells from Quincy Crew, they just haven't been able to secure any kills. You have Enchantress, Witch Doctor supports, your mid doesn't really go in. It's pretty much all on Leslau, and they've been kiting him really well.
Sadly, we won't be seeing the Aghanim Scepter on Lifesteal this game because there is a Refresher Shard.
Yeah, he would have taken it for sure.
Yeah, there's no way he would have taken it either. That's the sad part, the sad reality for my life. 12K net worth lead for T1, and this might be the last-ditch effort for Quincy Crew. They have to deny this, buy it back onto Leslau. Remember, has the Stampede available, can walk through terrain here.
Around. They might find a Wyvern
Smoke
first.
is actually going to be popped, but Zephyr doesn't realize it's been popped. We get the Silence coming out. There's the Abyssal Blade from Yawar jumping in onto Whitemon. Will it be enough? The heal with the Infest is enough to keep Whitemon alive for now. And you see the coil onto 2. The first to die is LOA. Buys back into the game, though. Doom applied to Yawar already, but all he can do is right-click and try to run away. It finally will end. He has his Sunder available. Might have to use it on a teammate if he's not careful here, but MSS in the meantime just getting beat down by 23 Savage. Silence applied to Yawar. Still can't get that Sunder off. He's getting very low. Finally does so. Now gets full HP as we see 23 Savage beating upon Quinn with that open wound. Just so much damage. Double kill for him. Now Yawar with the spider legs onto the low ground. Feels like he is just going to drop one way or the other. The initiation from Whitemon. Just too much for Quincy Crew to handle. And this will be the 3rd Roche for T1.
I think they're just getting outplayed in team fights. It might be a lineup thing. You can never really tell. But the high cooldown ultis just didn't do anything for Quincy Crew this game. They played a really solid early game, and it didn't really transition into anything this game, it felt like.
And that was a pretty good silence there, too, because Yawar was definitely looking for the Blink Thunder.
Yeah, it was a bit weird because Witch Doctor walked up, and again, like, they go for the smoke play, but he had no sentries, so Lion just gets Glimmer Caped.
Look at this.
Enchantress isn't close enough.
He has Arcane Blink and 2 Refreshers.
Oh, man.
That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. It's 23 Savage taking out that tier 4 successfully. We have the double buyback from Quincy Crew, but they know that there's no meta right now. There's not too much to fear. Oh, okay. Coil again onto MSS. He's just going to heal through it. That might provide a little bit of space, but here comes Cuckoo with the Doom again. But there's the Stampede to try to counteract this, but the Yules keeps him in place. And into the stun from the Lion. That means Quinn will take a tumble. 110 seconds, no buyback. And this looks like a 2-0 for T1 in very good fashion for them. they looked extremely strong here.
Yeah, just really smooth gameplay. They understood that even though you're against terribly DP, like I thought that would be a bit scary to go into late game with, but they just had confidence in their players, and once the refreshers and Doom come out, like can't contest them in team fights.
Yeah, this was extremely well executed from T1. I was expecting 3 games based on how close their original series at the Animator was, but T1 looks extremely good right now. And I actually forget, they're still in the hotel, I'm guessing, right? They both are.
Yeah, I think both teams are.
Yeah, so
they're just tipping each other against each other at lunch.